Welcome to Recope. My name is Michelle Fitzsimmons. Patents are one of three types of intellectual property grants authorized by the U.S. Constitution. Trademarks and copyrights are the other two. Trade secrets are not authorized by the Constitution, but are generally controlled by state law. You'll note that each of these types of intellectual property carry different terms for enforceability. We'll focus on utility patents. What is a patent? Much like in real property, you have the right to exclude trespassers off of your property. In this way, a patent is similar. You have a right to exclude others from practicing your invention. I also want to make the distinction. Your right to exclude does not mean that you have market exclusivity. Others could design around your patent and compete directly with your potential product. One of the things that I'm often asked at the beginning is, how much is this going to cost and how long is it going to take? To obtain a patent in the United States, from filing the application through issue and through expiration of the patent term, will cost about $30,000. This is for U.S. only. If you're considering worldwide protection, filing in countries where you likely will market your product, your costs could exceed $100,000. Often you don't have a single patent around a product, but rather a group of patents. So your portfolio costs add up quickly. I also want to mention that one way to extend your patent term is to file a provisional application. A provisional application doesn't start the 20-year clock, but can add an additional year so that you can effectively get 21 years of protection. It's important to understand how the FDA approval process overlays with the patent process. You can file your patent application, the patent issues, but you're going to have IND filing, your clinical trials, and your NDA. So there's a period of time where you have patent protection, but you're not able to sell or market your drug because you don't have FDA approval. So it's not uncommon for pharmaceutical products to have effective patent terms that are less than 10 years. You may be able to get some of this time back through a patent term extension, but no more than 5 years. After patent expiration and market entry of the competitor, profitability can be cut by half. So, filing a patent application is like starting a stopwatch. Each day that you're not able to market your patented discovery, you could be losing hundreds or thousands of dollars each day. What should you be thinking about when filing a patent application? When it comes to pharma products, your commercial product is what is contained on the product label. This will cover your indication and use, your phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials, your toxicology, and pharmacology. So in any of these areas where you can identify novelty or non-obviousness, those are areas of patentability. Often a series of patents will cover a single product. It includes the active ingredient, the pharmaceutical compositions, indications, formulations, and devices. There are a couple of things that you should be thinking about before you file your application. First and foremost, is there a viable market for the invention? Can you enforce the patent? Doesn't make sense to spend $30,000 on something if you don't have the ability to go after potential infringers. Is the patent easily designed around? This is really important when it comes to drafting. You need to work with somebody who is going to be able to think outside the box and patent broad enough around your invention to give you some coverage. Will you need to obtain a license to practice your invention? And I've provided two graphics for this illustrating the interrelationship between inventions. Let's say someone patents a chair, 4 legs, seat, and a backrest. You make an improvement and you add rockers on the bottom to turn it into a rocking chair. In this example, you would not be able to practice your invention without first obtaining a license from the patent owner of the chair, because your invention happens to include all of the elements contained in the chair patent. If you practiced your invention, if you started making rocking chairs, you would be infringing on the chair holder even though you've got a patent on the rocking chair. Does your patent provide adequate coverage for the intended commercial use? You want to make sure that your patent and your FDA label, what's going to be your commercial product, match. What is required to get a patent? Needs to be useful, novel, non-obvious, and you have to have a written specification. I've included 2 patents. The first is this inflatable packaging, and the second is this cup holder. These have made a huge impact in their commercial spaces. What does it mean to be useful? The patent application has to be directed towards a process, machine, manufacture, or composition of matter. Does the claim fall within one of the judicial exceptions? Laws of nature, natural phenomena, or abstract ideas? Several recent Supreme Court cases have radically reinterpreted patentable subject matter. Under the current 101 analytical framework, isolated, naturally occurring DNA is no longer patentable, nor are correlations that would be considered natural laws or processes, like those found in many diagnostic kits. What does novel mean post-AIA? The first question is, was the invention publicly disclosed or otherwise available to the public prior to the filing date? If you're having a group meeting and it is open to the public, you will fall under this provision. If you have a disclosure, either through a public presentation or you've published, you now have a 1-year period to file your application. But many foreign countries do not have this exception. By presenting your material and filing afterwards, you could be precluding your opportunity to have global patent rights. One of the most publicized aspects of the AIA legislation was the U.S. adoption of a first-to-file rather than a first-to-invent paradigm. Non-obvious, this 35 U.S.C. 103, think about this as taking all of the publications that are related to your development and putting them on a board and saying, hey, knowing what I know about all of these different publications, would FOSITA have come up with that? Specification is a written description that should demonstrate the inventor has possession of the invention. Possession of the invention is the pivotal concept. You need to put enough detail in your specification to enable another person to perform the invention. Patent application formats, you've got a title, abstract, background, summary, detailed description, examples, drawings and figures, and then finally the claims. Much like in real property, claims are considered the metes and bounds or the boundaries of your development.